They are not wrong when they say the bond between siblings is unbreakable. Whether you live or die, your family is always there. And this story of Lea Porter proves it, who suddenly disappeared on July 3, 2014, leaving no trace or mark. But thanks to her brother, they were able to pull out the truth. Lea Porter was born in a loving and close-knit family in Pueblo, Colorado. She was the type of person whose upbeat personality would brighten any space. When she was little, Lea often dressed up and put on skits for her family and friends, something they still cherish today. Lea and her elder brother Max had a wonderful relationship. They were best friends and performed practically all activities together. Lea and Max were close to such an extent that when Max graduated from high school, Lea there and then decided to go to the same college as her brother, and she did. And not just that, she studied the same course her older brother took in massage therapy. Most people who met Lea in college said she was always excited about her future profession. Lea found that settling into a new location wasn't too harsh, primarily because she always had her brother at her side. With Max's buddies, both siblings socialized together. Lea found it difficult to accept Max's college graduation. She was saddened because she lost a dependable friend and a solid foundation of support. Max began his life after graduation with a new job, but for Lea, things were challenging since she couldn't see her brother frequently, which affected her emotional health. This was only the beginning of her struggles. Those who knew Lea began to notice the change in her behavior. The once joyous Lea was now a quiet, depressed girl whom no one knew. Lea's conduct changed not only due to her brother moving out, but also because she was going through an intense breakup. Jesse Mine, her boyfriend of 6 months, was 38, way older than Lea, and according to some of Lea's friends, it was Jesse who introduced her to heroin, a new habit that Lea had developed during the time of their dating. Soon after her brother Max had graduated from college, Lea dropped out and moved in with Jesse, and that is when she began her new addiction to heroin, as her friend Mallory Nixon stated. They tried to get Lea out of this addiction, but with everything happening in her surroundings, Lea couldn't stop. Lea then decided to relocate to Denver and posted about it on Facebook, requesting her friends to assist her in doing so because she was homeless at the time. Lea was alone throughout this time except for her brother, who she confided in regarding her heroin usage. Max was completely distraught at learning about Lea's addiction, and as was to be expected, he warned Lea about the risk associated with heroin use. He didn't push too hard, though, since he feared she might move away from him. On June 3, 2014, Mallory met up with Lea. When she saw her, she described Lea as super sick and struggling to fight off heroin, but who knew that it would be their last meeting ever before Lea disappeared. Lea officially disappeared on June 3, 2014. Lea's brother Max was worried since he had said she texted him frequently, but when she didn't reply to his messages or calls after 2 days, her family decided to report her missing. The initial suspect in the crime was Lea's ex-boyfriend, Jesse Mine, who was questioned by the police. Jesse told the police that he and Lea had an emotional split, that he moved out as a result, that Lea had decided to relocate to Denver, and that their final conversation took place in a motel parking lot. According to Jesse, Lea had also ceased messaging and contacting him, but he assumed that she moved on or was occupied with her friends. After this inquiry, Jesse Mine was removed from the suspect list. Meanwhile, Lea's mother Renee had been going through her daughter's social media accounts and her phone records when she discovered a certain name and number constantly popping up that belonged to Christopher Waide. He was a high school acquaintance who had been commenting and liking Lea's pictures. But the most shocking factor was that he made comments more in a romantic way. And according to Max and Renee, Waide wasn't the type of person Lea would date. Waide was then questioned by Renee over his relationship with Lea. Waide replied by saying that he had served as more of an accountability partner and sponsor for drug users in recovery. Renee was now faced with a new shocking detail because she was unaware of Lea's drug use. Waide revealed how he met Lea online on a post where she pleaded for support to remain in Denver, to which he responded and offered to help. And that's how they first connected. However, according to Waide, Lea left the same day she came in a white pickup truck after getting a text. Waide added a few more details when explaining the same story to the police. He told them they went to Boston Market to grab dinner and returned to his apartment, where they talked and played video games. Waide also helped the family in search of Lea. He put up many posters about her being missing and seemed very distressed about it. But upon further investigation, the police found Lea's car in a parking lot of the complex where Waide lived. And upon checking the vehicle, the police found Lea's belongings from college, but no signs of blood. Although Waide tried to help in searching for Lea, police thought something was off about him, as they felt he had been withholding something. So they started to look further into Waide. The police learned that Waide had been discharged from the army because of his violent behavior, and with his permission, they searched his 2-bedroom apartment in Westminster. According to the police, it was gross, messy, and dirty, with nothing in order, and the most disgusting part of it was Waide's bedroom. The cops dug deeper into the bedroom and discovered a large bag of women's underwear that Waide claimed was his. Along the side of the mattress, there were bloodstains that he attempted to remove with bleach, and a knife was also found. Waide's computer, which had search histories for child pornography and violent sex websites, was confiscated by the police. Waide was then taken into custody for further questioning, and when he was asked about the knife, he explained how he had cut his hand with the knife. Police did not believe Waide's story at all, and when asked about Lea again, he repeated the same story as before with added detail. Lea was at his place playing video games, and out of nowhere, she kissed Waide, and then they started having sex. This is where the story ended, because after that, Lea received a text and then left in a white pickup truck. By the time the police conducted their research, Lea's brother Max had started his own research. Max began asking about Waide from his former classmates. From this, Max learned that Waide kept a secret journal where he wrote about his sadistic fantasies. They described images of murder scenes and blood. This is when Max decided to take matters into his own hands. He learned that Waide was obsessed with tarot cards, so Max asked Waide if they could meet for a reading to look for Lea. Waide agreed, and instead of being aggressive and violent towards Waide, Max decided to befriend him. This way, he could convince Waide to tell him the truth. They both, along with another friend of Max's, met at a park and started the reading. During the reading, Max slowly started questioning Waide for answers. At first, he was met with denials. Still, with further pushing and telling Waide that it was okay if he had done anything wrong, and that he would forgive him in exchange for the truth, Waide still did not give the answers. But with further pushing, Waide began to share that the two had gone to Boston Market. They went home to play video games, had sex, and then once at his house, Lea started begging for money to buy heroin. Waide refused to give her that, and according to him, she pulled a knife out and pointed it towards Waide, threatening him. The two got into a scuffle, and as Waide didn't want to hurt her, he twisted her around to get a hold of her and to stop her. He kept his hands on her throat. He didn't squeeze it until she kept going, but according to Waide, he thought that by doing so, he would make her unconscious and then get a hold of the knife, but that never happened. Luckily, Lea's brother was recording the whole conversation and called the police right then and there. Max handed Waide over to them. Waide was then arrested and charged with first-degree murder, sexual assault, and child pornography found on his computer. To avoid facing all the charges, Waide agreed to plead guilty to second-degree murder in exchange for Lea's body. The police agreed, and after the recording, Waide told him how he disposed of Lea's body. He put Lea's body in a trash bag, then into a duffel bag, and then trashed it into a dumpster. His criminal justice classes taught him how to clean a crime scene. The police and Lea's family searched everywhere for Lea's body, but to this date, they have never found it. As for Waide, he was sentenced to 48 years in prison.